This is Sunken Temple, Temple of Atalhakar, as a fire mage. I decided to conjure a refreshment table in case anybody wanted one.
Good luck, friend.
Alright, so, oh, I needed it myself, because my health was down just a little bit. Right. So interestingly, that spell, Conjure Refreshment, will create a table that your entire party can click and get food off of if you're in a group. But if I'm alone, then it just gives me food directly into my inventory, so it works differently depending on whether I'm in a group or not. Okay, so I see a warrior, Death Knight. What's the undead person? Is that a Mistweaver or a priest? Those are the only two that undead can play as a healer. It's a Mistweaver. Okay, neat. And then some sort of shaman. Let's puzzle out enhancement or elemental. I want to say I'm seeing enhancements. Trying to use that rune of power just in the middle of a regular fight here. What am I doing? Having trouble targeting for some reason. Weird. Yeah, I think I'm seeing enhancement shaman stuff. Okay. So yeah, something mildly interesting happens in this dungeon a little later on. This is why I'm showing this one. It's otherwise not all that interesting. Somebody has a balloon. Huh. Anyway, it looks like a, you know, enthusiastic, normal team here at the beginning. People are ready to go. Abilities look about the same as ever. I don't think a whole lot has changed since Blackrock Depths. What level am I? 52, okay. Don't remember what I was there. Alright, let's see. So this is Sanctum of the Fallen God, not that one place with the fear effect. That seemed like a weird time to Dragon's Breath. Did I mean to do that? I'm not sure. Yeah, so getting used to using Rune of Power. Just pretty much want to use it whenever I can stand still and wouldn't mind a little more damage, which is, you know, most of the time I'm doing any damage. Combustion, right, okay, yeah, that Dragon's Breath, that was too far away to actually hit. Pretty sure that didn't hit anybody. So still kind of zeroing in on what the exact range of Dragon's Breath is for hitting. Is that Curse of Tongues? Cast feels a little slower, but not a lot. It is Curse of Tongues. What did that say? Reduced 20%? Oh right, and I can decurse, because I'm a mage. Mm-hmm. So this tank we have is a Blood Elf Warrior. That is a race class combination that used to not exist. When Blood Elves first existed, they were the only race who could not play as a warrior. Everybody else could be, but they could not. That changed at some point, I'm not sure when. Now everybody can be a warrior. And a hunter. Those two are available to all races in the game. I think those are the only two that's true for. Death Knight. Death Knight now is also available to everybody. But it's locked behind a Shadowlands pre-order. But it is available to all races. For all the others, you have this complicated list of races who can play. Some are more restrictive than others. Druid and Paladin in particular, and Demon Hunter really especially. Demon Hunter is only available to 2 races in the entire game. And it bothers me because I don't want to play either one of those. So I'm not making a Demon Hunter right now. And yeah, working on the High Mountain Tauren, which is what I want for my Druid. I'm not there yet. Yeah, Druid is a probably the second most limited one. My presumption is that's because of the additional work it takes to actually support a druid, because each druid race has unique transformations. So you're not... so it requires making unique bear and cat and travel and like all the different shapeshifted forms for each race who can play it. Because those are not generic, they actually change based on what the druid is underneath. So not quite as simple to add that one to a new race, which, you know, happens occasionally. Like I was saying, Blood Elves could not be warriors when they first existed, but race class restrictions got relaxed at some point so that they could, and that's happened for other things. Yeah, she's enthusiastic, using that heroic leap to get to where she's going immediately after the current group dies. Alright, so I think we're coming up on the room now with the things that have the fear effect. I remembered very distinctly from the last time I was here. Yeah, so watch out for these. So, dead ones make ghosts that are untargetable but do heavy damage if you stand too close to them. And live ones will cast fear, which can cause more to have their attention gotten by you. I'm standing a little close here. I guess I wanted to get a dragon's breath. What am I doing to make sure I don't get feared into more? There's a fear. The counterspell was on cooldown. The group is doing a pretty good job of not going too far into this room, being aware that you really don't want to do that until it's a bit clearer. Staying away from the spirits. Huh, they're untargetable by us, or maybe they are targetable, just not really meaningfully damageable. But I saw that Death Knight's ghoul going for one. Just have to wait for them to dissipate. Okay, I got feared, but I wasn't running quite toward the bosses. With a slightly different angle, that could have been worse. Okay, so I interrupted my fireball to counterspell there, just to make sure nobody went the wrong direction. And room's clear enough at this point that I think we're in good shape. Okay, Jamalon the Prophet has joined the fight. So in addition to the fears and ghosts, he's gonna, yeah, join us. Turn somebody into a monster, taking away their ability to take any actions, and yeah, here we go. So the warrior's turned into a big hulking brute who's coming after me. Oh man, it has already killed the shaman. Wow! Yeah, so without our warrior... Okay, she's back. Now we lost the healer. Great. I saw a paralyze effect, so Zid had stopped someone from doing stuff before he got transformed. Oh, also there's this guy, Ogam the Wretched. I don't know what he does. He's also there, and is part of this fight. Yeah, so with these transformations, threat doesn't really work the normal way just because of loss of control. Ah, invisibility. Hey, so that's the first time I actually used that ability. Okay, so this is what it's like to be mind-controlled. It uses up my combustion. How rude. Anyway, yeah, so invisibility is a skill that will It takes a couple of seconds to activate, but it drops me out of combat, ideally. It attempts to drop me out of combat, and or reduce my threat by a lot. So if something is on me persistently, and it doesn't look like... he's polymorph there, right, to neutralize the transformed tank. Using my abilities. Nice. So yeah, if I have threat on something and it's not a situation where the tank can pick it up, like say they are transformed in this fight, then I can use invisibility just to drop off the threat table and let the thing that's targeting me go for somebody else. Because like as a mage, I have pretty much no... what am I doing? Featherfall? I missed my polymorph button twice and cast Featherfall instead. Whoops! That's fine, I got to it eventually. Yeah, so as a mage, I have pretty much the least defense of any character I could play, any class I could play. Whereas cloth armor doesn't have, like... Well, I have the fire shield, so that's nice, but that's it as far as my defenses go, pretty much. So yeah, being able to drop threats and let somebody else take it, even if it's not another... even if that somebody else is not a tank, is a good thing. Okay, so Zed, our Mistweaver, disappears for a moment. Warrior says, I'll wait. So he was there for that battle, but as soon as it ended, he went away to do something. So we all just sit up here and wait for him to come back. So 4 minutes pass. Everybody decides it's time to move on. So we're just going to try going without a healer here. So let's see how this works. These were very nice people. I liked this group a lot. Got both of these little mini-bosses here. I guess they're full bosses, they don't get the little health bar on the right. Anyway, yeah, so nice people here. Did not decide to kick the healer just because he decided to... had to leave and go do something. So what I like about this approach is if we can still get this done... Let's see, we have a shaman. He can probably cast some healing spells here and there. If not, restoration spec, heals are probably not particularly great. But I see watery effects. I think he's able to fill in and be the healer in the Mistweaver's place. So yeah, I like this just because, like, instead of kicking him out and depriving him of the rest of this dungeon just because he had to go do something, we're just going to finish it with him there, and he'll still get the experience and credit and things. As long as we can do that, and his absence doesn't, you know, doesn't stop the rest of us from getting the dungeon done, I think that's very reasonable. You know, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. He probably had something he had to attend to, and that's fine. You know, stuff comes up. He doesn't need to be necessarily punished for that by being kicked out of the group. So yeah, we're able to give him his dungeon credit without having to wait forever for him to come back or kick him out of the group and get a new healer. So yeah, this is all going fine. Stuff like this always does tend to go better if we have the... if we have someone in the dungeon in a damage role who is a class who can cast healing spells. I made a mess of that, but I finally got the words out. So since there's a shaman here, and healing requirements are relatively light, I see... So the warrior's health bar has that extra little... Well, had that extra little, yeah. Has that extra little thing up above it. She's using, I think that's Ignore Pain, which is like a little mini shield for warriors. So yeah, she uses her defensives, Shaman uses his healing abilities as much as he can in Oh, that is an elemental shaman. I'm seeing chain lightning and stuff. I got an upgrade. That's nice. And that's plenty to get the dungeon done. So yeah, I was happy with this outcome. I did check the timing. It was 4 minutes of sitting there doing nothing, that everybody was waiting for our Mistweaver to come back. And he never did. To this day, he could still be sitting there in that dungeon doing nothing, I think. I'm pretty sure we won't be seeing him come back before the end of this. In fact, this is the end of this. This is last boss. What's going on with threat here? Targeting's being weird. I was targeted, then the Death Knight was targeted. Perhaps the warrior's just letting that happen to spread out damage a little bit and take pressure off of single target healing. Or maybe not. I don't know. I can't tell what was going on there. Maybe there's a mechanic with him. Longest second of my life, yeah. A 4-minute second. But we got it done. I was happy with that. It's a short walk, but I decided I didn't want to make it. It's just long enough that I did this to speed it up at least a little bit. Alright, cool. So yeah, I was just real happy with this nice group who refused to kick the healer. Didn't even attempt to, and got it done anyway. Cool. See you for the next one. I think I'm done here, right? Yes, I am.